Let's talk about autism in girls and women. The initial research on autism was done on young Caucasian boys, and it was assumed that girls couldn't be autistic. Now we know that that isn't true. Autistic boys and autistic girls present very differently in terms of traits, which is why it was assumed that girls couldn't be autistic. Today, I'm going to cover some of the traits that may present in autistic girls and women slash autistic females. Number one, being labeled sensitive or gifted or shy or all three. Number two, being highly empathic. You almost feel like a sponge where you're able to absorb other people's emotions and you end up feeling the way they feel. Number three, constantly anxious because you're masking all the time. Masking is essentially when you're pretending to be somebody else, and sometimes you're not even sure who that somebody else is. This can cause a low grade anxiety to run through your entire life, and sometimes this feels so huge that it's difficult to deal with it. This brings me to the next point. Number four, rehearsing social situations. You may have a tendency to practice your facial expressions in front of a mirror. You might even try and practice scripts like what you would say to somebody in a social situation. Or you preemptively try and figure out that these things might happen in a situation and you try to have a script in your mind. So when you go into the actual situation, you're able to move through it with a little more ease. This helps us to feel safer, it helps us to feel less anxiety and more in control of the situation. Number five, copy and paste behaviors or mimicking others. This means that you might copy other people's body language, their facial expressions, the words they may use, and try and replicate it in a similar situation. It was very recently that I learned that non-autistic people don't do this. And it was a complete surprise to me because I've done this for most of my life. Number six is having secret or socially appropriate stims. Stim or stimming is engaging in repetitive behavior that helps to self-soothe. It helps your nervous system relax and you feel safer in your body. Everybody engages in stimming, but it is a lot more common in autistic and other neurodivergent people. Autistic women may have socially appropriate stims like twirling their hair or maybe playing with your nails, playing with your fingers. Some are even secret like squeezing your toes in your shoes and even biting your lips. So these are considered socially appropriate, and a lot of autistic women engage in this type of stim so they don't draw too much attention to themselves. Number seven, autistic women may have trouble understanding their own emotions. This is also known as alexithymia, where you feel confused about what exactly it is that you're feeling. Which brings me to my next point, number eight, having meltdowns. Meltdown is when you have trouble regulating your emotions. Now, if you are confused about how you're feeling, you might have trouble regulating how you're feeling. On the surface, it might look like you're throwing a tantrum or you're just being difficult. But the truth is, you're having a meltdown because you're having a lot of difficulty regulating how you feel. This could show up as drastically different behaviors when you're in your home and when you're outside. When you're outside, you feel like you have to keep it together. And then when you come back home, you end up having a meltdown because you just feel safer in a known environment. Number nine, feeling very different from other girls or women. As an autistic woman or an autistic girl, you feel very, very different from your female peers, maybe in your class, your friend group, or at your workplace. And as a result, you may not have many girlfriends and you feel like you relate better to people of other genders. Number 10, being awkward at flirting and not recognizing when someone is flirting with you. Autistic women and autistic people in general may have trouble picking up on social cues and deciphering them. So if somebody is flirting with us, it might not register. And even if it does, it takes a lot of time to process it. So the realization may happen a few hours, weeks, months, or even years later. And the last one on this list is number 11, needing a lot of alone time. Being alone is the only time when you feel like yourself. It's almost like you need that time for your brain to be able to think and process whatever's happened over the course of a day, or you're trying to process an incident that has happened. And a lot of alone time is what helps you do that. Another reason why you may need a lot of alone time is because your surroundings overwhelm you, and being alone helps you decompress. So these are some of the traits we've looked at today, and it is by no means a comprehensive list. Please drop a comment if you'd like to add to this list, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.